Well, gang, it finally happened. 205 episodes with nary a recording issue or a lost episode. And on 206, our luck ran out. This week, Angelika's microphone simply did not record. So I'm done my best to try to save this episode, but she is going to sound very far away because she was only picked up on my microphone, and I'm really sorry. But we had so much fun, I couldn't let the episode go, so hope it's not so terrible. Thank you for your love and support. Okay, here's the episode. Hello and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelika.
Happy Shiny Day, everybody. Yay! Happy 14th. 14th Shiny Day. I can't believe it.
Wow, 14 years. Can't wait to celebrate a big 15.
Yes, with everybody, because Taemin will be back. Anyway, just had to say that because
Today
it's Shiny
has nothing
Day.
To do with,
No.
Surprisingly, wow, I can't believe we didn't plan a Shiny episode for their anniversary. That's very out of character for us.
It is, but it's fine.
But alas. Today's topic has nothing to do with Shiny.
Not specifically, no. But what we are talking about today is something that I feel like maybe should have come up in the first 50, but
Yes.
I don't know, it's been put off somehow.
I was thinking the same thing when I was prepping for it. I was like, how did we not do this already in the first 30 episodes that were so encyclopedic?
Yes.
I don't know how this slipped through.
But it did slip through, but we're covering it today. So we just wanted to take a broad picture look at K-pop stage names, because they seem like a thing that feel really before going into this, I felt like stage names were super common in K-pop, but looking at group by group, they're not as common as I thought. A lot of people are just going by the names they were born with.
True. But I also feel like almost every group has at least one member that has a stage name. And in that way, it feels very common. Not every group will have all 7 members with a stage name. But out of 7 groups, probably all of the groups have at least
one
stage name.
Yeah.
That's why it feels so common. But yeah.
So we just wanted to take a sampling. I did this kind of similarly to how I did the fan song episode, where I just started choosing groups at random, and I used our master list that we use for the random game to just randomly pull out groups and take a look at their members and see if people had stage names, and if they did, if I could find any story behind them or categorize them in any way. So this is absolutely not, as always. I'm sure there are plenty of stage names that are missed and not on my list anywhere. Tons of them. But I tried to get a sampling so that we could come up with some kind of thesis statement or discussion about stage names.
Absolutely. So we had some guiding questions at the beginning, right? And some of them fell into the categories. But I think the biggest question with stage names is who comes up with them. And for the most part, I mean, it seems pretty clear that the companies just choose them.
Yes.
If the idols choose to have stage names. Whether or not the idols choose to have stage names, I feel like is the part that is
debatable.
Yeah. That is less clear. But there are many idols who have stated very clearly that they've gotten them from their company. That part's not a secret.
Right. But whether or not they like wanted to have a stage name or had to have a stage name, one of my categories is like they probably had to because their name was taken already.
Yes, and there are also instances where, like, the concept of the group requires all of the members to have stage names. So there are definitely instances where the member will not necessarily have a choice. But then where the stage name comes from, also, I found like a variety.
All kinds of reasonings
all kinds of
and
different things. Did you find any stories about where stage names came
yes. Before we dive in, like
from? Like a general.
sure. Like it is an absolute fact that at SM 99% of stage names are chosen by Lee Soo-man himself. He chooses everybody's stage names and he has like lots of wild reasons for them. Like I was learning about how it seemed like he wanted every member of Super Junior to have a stage name and they weren't like fun stage names like I don't know, like words like this one's called Razzle. It was like they were all like Korean names. But he would like take all of the syllables to try to be like, this one means, and they all vaguely meant like best kid, most talented child, like beautiful, precious son was like all of the names he was coming up with for Super Junior. And most of them were like, no, thank you, and said no, thank you to the stage name they were offered.
Okay, so they had the choice. There you go.
But yeah, like SM ones are chosen by Lee Soo-man, period, and he has all kinds of reasons for them, and we can talk about some specifics later. But I also saw there was, where is this? Lovelies, the group Lovelies, their CEO chose two of the members' names after video games. Baby Soul was named after a pet from a video game. And then the other member, Jin, was named after a Tekken character. Wow. So their CEO picked both of their names based on his own video game nerdery, I guess. Which was interesting. And then like M Black Mirror, MIR is his name. He said that one day he just walked into training and Rain said, your name is Mir now. And there was no question. There was no discussion. Like, that's just how it was.
Rain
it just was. Yeah. So like that seems to be the vibe most of the time is people being like, the CEO just came up to me and said, you're called this now. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. I did read an interesting story where I guess the WJSN girls got to submit possible stage names, but they didn't get to choose theirs ultimately because like Bona submitted Yoram, but that was given to
another member. Yeah. And then she said in an interview, Bona said that she found out her stage name would be Bona when they did the like initial press release for WJSN. And that's what it said under her picture. And she was like, oh, I guess that's my name now. And she doesn't know what it means or like where it came from. It was just given to her.
Interesting. Well, maybe it was one of the other girls' submissions.
Mm-hmm. Another story I saw where like there was a bit of a like disagreement is that Suga from BTS had wanted his stage name to be Gloss, Gloss. He had like, done some underground mixtapes as Gloss or something. And Bang PD was like, I don't like that name. I think it sucks. So he named him Suga because he doesn't have a sweet persona and he thought it was ironic. So his name was like chosen ironically.
That's funny because I definitely feel like I've seen other things that have said the exact
opposite
of that, where it's like, but I don't know. But I know that Suga is where he gets the name August D because it's backwards.
Yeah. And then I saw that V from BTS was offered the names Six, Lex, and V. But he chose V because it was the most mysterious, because it's only a single letter.
Sure. I agree. It's the best one of those. But yeah, I did see that usually, like, the idols can often be given a list to choose from. Like, if they choose to have a stage name, then the company will give them a list and then they can choose. And it was interesting, like, reading, like, for example, 17 has a ton of stage names in their group.
Yes.
And they talked on Knowing Brothers a little bit about how some of them ended up with their stage names, and they had, like, switched around. Because Mingyu was originally supposed to be Dokyam, and Dokyam was, like, given a couple of names, one of which was Yongpal, which meant something about, like, the voice of 8 dragons.
Okay.
Yong is
Dragon. Okay. 8 dragons. Got it.
And Yongpal became the 8.
So, okay.
So DK was supposed to be the 8, but then Mingyu decided to just go by Mingyu, which is his birth name. So DK became DK.
Okay.
Dokyam, and Minghao became the 8, which now means infinite. Like 8 is luck, so and then on the side, it's infinity sign.
Interesting.
8 is luck in Chinese culture. Is lucky in Chinese.
Yes.
It means Chinese. So now it means infinite luck. But it originally meant power of 8 dragons.
8 dragon
for
voices.
Dokyam's voice.
That's so funny. I feel like that story is super interesting to me because I feel like the 8 comes up a lot on like people's personal lists of like dumb stage names. Like people don't like it and think that it's very weird.
I mean, we definitely laughed a lot about it. Like,
calling somebody the something is pretty is already pretty intense, but I love the idea that like clearly somebody at Pledis was like, this is a genius idea and someone will be named the 8. I don't care which of you it is, but like this name is getting used.
Yeah, that and Dokyam, which is a portmanteau of 2 Korean words that mean like multi-talented. Like multiple paths or whatever.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of, but then like Woozy's nickname is really cute because, or like how he got his stage name because his birth name is Jihoon. But it was a staff nickname. Like the Pledis staff just called him Uji because it meant our Jihoon.
Udi Jihoon shortened just goes Uji. So that's where it came from.
Which is
so cute.
And so they just kept it. S-Coops stands for Songchol, which is his birth name, and Coops comes from coup d'etat, meaning like powerful.
But coup d'etat means to overthrow a government.
I know.
Like that's what it means.
But that's where it comes from. So I'm pretty sure because he was like besties with the Pledis head, whoever that guy was. So I'm sure they came up with that together. And I also read that Dino, which this is what I always thought of, but I didn't know it actually was. Dino does stand for dinosaur because he wants to dominate the stage.
There was another Dino in second gen, like some little, I can't remember which one it was, but some boy group that didn't do much that also had a Dino for the same reason. He also said it stood for dinosaur.
Okay.
So... But yeah, I thought that was interesting that like that was the other thing. Like the 3 main categories I saw for stage names is it's straight up chosen by the CEO or a couple of people, like especially those that had like underground rap careers of their own. People chose their own stage name, like chose a different persona, or it was a trainee nickname. Like I learned that Giselle from aespa, the reason her name is Giselle is that apparently she used to dress, one of the trainers said that she dressed like a British girl. And so they just started calling her Giselle. And that's where it came from.
Name, I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah.
That's really funny. She just dressed like a British girl. What does that mean? Like a schoolgirl?
I don't know. But that's what she said it came from.
That's funny.
And there was another, it's one of my least favorite stage names of all time, but Feel Dog from UNB.
Yeah, that's bad.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But it's a very complicated nickname because if you spell it in Korean, Pildok, it means must read. Like it's an exclusive must read. Like you got to pay attention to this guy. But apparently the English spelling of feel dog came from a trainer who would say, "You have a good feel, dog." And like That's where it came from. So like trainee nicknames becoming
yeah.
stage names is a rarer but possible thing that can happen, I guess.
Yeah. Was there another like top cat? You said like CEO picks it, trainee nickname,
Or it was chosen by them by the idol themselves.
and then on the very rare occasion that there's like a family nickname, then that will be just their stage name. Like this, I think we found in everything almost exclusively applies to foreign idols because like Thai idols like Bam Bam and Ten and Lisa, those are just their family names.
Because like Thai birth names are extremely long to like fold in all this family history. So apparently most people in Thailand just have a little short nickname that they are called so that they don't have to use their ridiculously long name.
Exactly. Like Ten's full name is Chitafon, which I specifically learned how to say.
But 10 is much easier
and
to
then
say.
all of the English-speaking idols as well, which all three of those idols that I just named, I think, actually I don't know if Lisa speaks English, but anyway, the American ones and Canadian ones too, like Wendy and Josh and Eric and Mark.
Eric and Johnny and all those are their names.
Those are just their names. They also have Korean names, which is like pretty traditional for like Korean immigrants that speak English, but to give them an English name and a Korean name,
Right.
then they just use the English name as their stage name. So those are kind of like the main wares. No, what I meant was the main like places, like that's where they come from.
Yes, the main wares.
The main wares. I get it. It's one of those days where it's just like, it's only Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a general discussion.
That's a general
into
discussion.
Where some of these stage names come from. But let's dive into some of the findings that you
Sure.
tell us about the categories and any like fun surprises.
So when we got this episode suggested, we have an episode suggestion thing where we keep track of it, and whomever asked for stage name things at one point said like, where did they start, or like asked about the beginning of stage names. And I think that's just the beginning of entertainment in general. Like the idea of having a stage name is just a part of entertainment, of people, you know, wanting to have. And I think especially in like K-pop idol life, where we've talked about this, of idols being like, there's a stage me and there's a not stage me. And so if you have an entirely different name for your famous persona, then it's like you can sort of separate the two a little more easily or whatever. So like they're just part of entertainment since for the last 100 years. People have stage names. But I went and looked, like, did the first gen have stage names? And I feel like it was about as common as it still is. Like I just did a rundown of like the biggest first gen groups, and HOT only has one stage name. Sekshkis has no stage names. SES was all stage names. Baby Vox only had one stage name. So like kind of the same patterns that still exist today. So I just thought that was like interesting.
Yeah, I do think stage names, interestingly enough, are maybe one of the most consistent parts of K-pop. Like that throughout the generations, there are always a smattering of stage names, and they always come from the same like sources.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, all right. So looking into some like categories of names and how they might like how they come to be is I wanted to first look at Korean stage names, where like maybe as an international listener you don't recognize that the name actually like means something else, and not in the same sense of like everybody's name has a meaning and you can be like, this character means this in Chinese, so his name means whispering wind. Like I mean people whose name is like a noun.
Sure.
So for example, G-Friend / Vivi's Sinbi, which is like stylized capital S-I-N capital B. Sinbi means mystery. So like, ooh, her name is just
Her name is
mystery, which is very Interesting.
See, I always thought that that was like a weird take on Cindy, but then spelled with Sin.
Yeah. But no,
But
it's
no,
like a
it's
whole other
Korean
thing.
word for mystery.
And fun fact, other G-Friend Vivi's member Eunha, her name means galaxy. Eunha means galaxy. But both Sinbi and Eunha, their birth names are Unbi. They're both named Unbi. So they took the Un for one and the B for the other and gave them like stage names.
Cute.
Yeah.
I like that. That's adorable.
Another G-Friend Vivi's that I thought was very fascinating because I feel like in English this isn't as cute, but G from Vivi's G-Friend, her name means thumb.
Like it is the word for thumb.
The word for thumb. And like apparently it's like because she's so cute and small, but I feel like in English, if you say somebody looks like a thumb, it's like an insult to say that their face is very boring and like round like a fucking thumb.
Yeah. Also, the word thumb is not cute.
G is cute.
G is cute, but thumb is not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
lost in translation a bit.
Lost in translation. But like, let's see. HOT Kangta means hit hard. So like he was coming in to like
Is it like onomatopoeia? Like it's the sound of being hit hard, or
no, I think it like means like to strike hard.
Wow.
Yeah, Kangta. And then like Shinhwa, there's a Shinhwa member named Junjin, and Junjin means to move forward, and part of Shinhwa's greeting is like we're moving forward. Shinhwa. So like his stage name like folds into the group concept like altogether, which I thought was very interesting. Similarly, EXO Suho. Suho means guard, and he's the leader and guardian of EXO. So he got, a name to go with it. Let's see, what other ones are good?
Oh, wait. You told us about Field Dog, how that actually has a Korean meaning. And Block B, B-Bomb is also a Korean
Yes, which I think is really cool because it's like spelled it's romanized B-B-O-M-B, B-Bomb. But when you spell that in Hangul, B-Bomb, it means rare or exceptional.
That's
so like
cool.
it's a fun, that's a good double meaning name.
That's a good one. I feel like these other ones that you found that are strange, or that are uniquely Romanized, and then they're like sneaky Korean meanings, like in Black Thunder.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he is not called Thunder in Korea. His stage name is Chondung, which means thunder.
Yeah.
But I always thought that people were calling him Thunder, but they're not calling him Thunder.
But people do call him Thunder, and I feel like that's an interesting example.
Like Rain and Bee.
Yeah, where the stage name has been translated, and that the translation is just as common, if not more common, than the original. At least for international fans, it's very interesting. And then who is this MIB Ojik?
Yes, this one was interesting too. A boy group called MIB. One of the members. You said their name Ojik, but it was spelled number 5 ZIC, like 5 Zik, but Ojik, and that means only. And his birth name is Hangil, which means one way. So combined, it means only one way. Ooh, very clever.
Clever. I like it.
So I loved finding a lot of these. They were clever and fun. Because they're not immediately recognizable if you don't speak Korean. But I thought it was cool. Yeah.
In fun ways.
The next category that I looked at was non-Korean names. And we already said this, but I was expecting to at least find a few more of Jasons or AJs who that was not their name.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it was all those Western names are the names that those people were called when they were growing up in Australia or whatever.
Except for Max
That's their name.
Chung.
Right. Exactly. And we'll talk about them in a minute.
He falls into a different category.
Exactly. But some fun ones that I found is that Vic's Ravi means delighted in French.
Ooh, cute.
And then EXO's Kai, his name means open in Chinese. So he was supposed to, as the center, be the open door to EXO.
Well, I think that that's very, very fitting and appropriate because he opened the door to EXO for us.
Yes, that's true.
And also for Kara. He opened the door to K-pop for many people. So that's very fitting.
Very fitting.
Also, I forget that Kai is a stage name all the time because I feel like it's just a very fitting.
It's also
he's
a super
idol that I don't separate from his stage name a lot of times.
Right.
I just think of him as Kai.
Totally. And I also think that Kai has become, in the last couple of years, a super popular baby name. Like, there's a lot of boys being named Kai these days. So I also just sort of think of it as like a regular name.
It's because all the XOLs are mom age now. They're all having babies and they're naming their sons Kai.
Yeah, I think so. And then like EXO Schumann, his name is Minsok, which is a super common like birth name. There are like 7 Minsoks in K-pop. It's a really popular name. But he was on EXO M, right? So he needed a name that like sounded more Chinese, I guess, was probably Lee Soo-man's reasoning. So Shu means great. And then the Min is from his name, Minsok. So Schumann, like he's the great version of himself, I guess.
The great Schumann. Or the great Minsok.
Yes. And then I learned that solo artist Hazy or Haiji, I don't know how people like to say it, but Hazy, she chose.
I've heard even some people say Haze.
Oh, maybe just Haze. But she chose, her name comes from a German word, Heizen, which means giving off heat. So like, she's like a fire.
And I found that Hoshi, because Hoshi is a nickname that he like had before as well. Like,
okay.
This was, I think, a personal nickname if I read that correctly.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly. 17's Hoshi is the Japanese word for star.
Oh, it is.
But it's also a portmanteau of the Korean phrase Horangi Shishon, which means a tiger's gaze.
Of course.
That's where he gets his tiger obsession from.
I see. I wonder if that's an after the fact kind of thing where he got into his tiger thing and then like realized that he can plug it in.
No idea. I have no idea. But I believe he like came to Pledis like with the nickname Hoshi already.
Makes sense.
But yeah.
This other category is just something that I found is like weirdly common, which is initial stage names, and they almost they all come from the idol's birth name somehow. So like Monster X, Im Chang-kyun, Im is his last name, becomes I am. Then EXO Do Kyung-soo becomes Dio. Stray Kids has Yang Jongin, and they just took the in and made IN.
Oh, interesting.
Astro MJ is a Minjun. So that's where the MJ is from. Block B Pio, his last name is Pyo. Yeah. So they just Pio. And then
and that's also one of those things where like if you said that with an American accent, like Pio.
Yeah. It's just right there. And then one of a hated nickname that people, or a hated stage name that comes up on a lot of lists is there was a Madtown member who was Ho, because his name was Song Jae-ho and he was Ho, but ho is it's a slur, not a slur. It's a derogatory insult to call someone a hoe. Yeah. So like I guess choosing that as a stage name, people found it icky. Yeah.
Which doesn't roll off the tongue.
No, it does. It's also hard to say.
It doesn't sound nice. Ho. No.
Hecho.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I've decided.
No, thank you. So this next category that I took.
This is my favorite category.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think because these I think are the most clever and like what I think is like one of the best stage names, like it's in this category.
Okay, great. So this is I called it real name reimagined, where people take their birth name and either spell it interestingly or find some kind of pun involved in it and like reimagine their nickname. So the earliest one I found of these is there was a Baby Vox member whose birth name is Kim Yi Ji. So they stylized it as Kim Easy, letter E dash letter Z, because it sounds exactly the same, but it looks cooler as like easy than Yeezy. Loved that one. And then obviously we have Big Bang G Dragon. His birth name is Kwon Ji Young, and Young means dragon. So Ji Young, G Dragon. Boom.
That's my favorite. I think that's the best.
It's so
I
good.
think it's really good. Because, like, yeah, the spelling of it, like, and then it just fits his persona really well. And I think it's clever.
Yeah, it's very clever. Monsta X, Shonu, his birth name is Son Hyun Woo. And if you say that very quickly, Shonu.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. Just mushing his name.
Mushing it together.
Shonu. I love it.
He's another one that I feel like, and it's interesting too, which idols by their other members get called like their other name. Or like, you know, because like I feel like with shiny members, like they'll call him Onu and Jinki or something. But the Monsta X members only ever call him Shonu. To the point where I didn't even know it was a stage name until like a while into my fandom. I was like, wait, is that his real name? Like that doesn't sound like a real name. And then I had to look it up because no one ever calls him Hyunwoo.
Right.
Ever
No.
have I ever heard anyone call him that. But
Yeah.
I'm sure his mom does.
Yeah. The name Lee is very easy to make into E's because there was an after school whose birth name was Young, and they then stylized it capital E Young, and then Jui from Momoland is Lee Ju-won.
Yeah.
Switch it around and spell it fun.
Yeah.
Jui. A really clever one that I thought was super clever is there was a Priston member whose birth name was Kim Ye-won. Ye-won. One sounds like one. And one in Korean is Hana. So they changed her name to Yehana. I think that's super clever.
I like it.
One into Hana. And then like there's an Enhypen who's Japanese and his full name is Nishimura Riki. And they just took the beginning and the end and he's Nikki.
Cute. I like that. That's like a nickname.
Yeah. And then like other little short ones like Super Junior Shindong. His name is Shin Dong Hee. Just take the first two, smush them together. Dalsha Bet had a member whose birth name was Ja Young, and they just took the J off and made it Ah Young.
I like this My Name member. I don't know who My Name is, but I like this Kang Jung Kyu as June Q with the letter Q.
Yeah, with the letter Q. It's helpful because I feel like, Q, that KYU sound, then can just become a capital letter Q, and then it's cool and edgy.
The spelling is like nice and easy, but the ones that have the different members are fun too. Like I've seen this one a lot, the Mamamoo. Kim Yong-sun is where we got Solar from.
Right.
And then Solar is also the notes on a do, re, mi, so, la.
Ah, so la. Yeah. Smart, clever, love it. The next category we had was the phenomenon of a stage name being changed after debut.
Yes, because some of our initial questions were like, does anyone dislike their stage name? Has anyone changed their stage name? And as far as idols disliking their stage name, I feel like you don't really find that out until like after the fact.
Right.
Like after they quit or something. Although there are a few instances that will come up here. But then it was just enough to make it a whole category all on its own.
Yeah. So one of the most recent ones that we've seen is Monsta X Juhan changed his stage name officially to Ju Honey. It started out as a nickname where the Korean fans were calling him Jukul, gul being the Korean word for honey, because he's a sweet honey bear. But he was always had a hard time with people, especially I think when they started doing American press and stuff, with people pronouncing his name correctly. Like he always goes Juhan, And he says it very hard so that you get that it's Han. And then I think just changing it to Honey just makes it easier for everyone. And it's a super cute name. And I love Honey.
Yes, this is like the opposite of a idol not liking their stage name, but he like adopted a stage name and one that came from the fans. I feel like this is a very unique example. And I love Honey, and that he also just goes by Honey.
Yeah, it's super cute.
It's so cute, and it's also very fitting.
2PM member who debuted as Junsu changed his name to Jun K a couple years in, and this is a stage name that people debate about whether or not it's good, because Jun K sounds nice, but when you look at it, it just looks like junk.
That's true.
Because it's JUN period K right after it. There's like no space between the June and the K, so it kind of looks like junk.
That is true, but I don't know. I do like the sound of June K.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things, it's like the Super M thing. Like, I never saw it until you pointed it out.
Sperm or whatever everyone was saying. Yeah.
I can't unsee it.
Super famous example that everybody knows is that BTS rap monster became RM or Rapmon a few years into it. And he said that Rap Monster was really long, like that it was a really long name for people to say, and that he didn't feel like it fit his music style anymore, and he wanted to be able to he didn't want to pigeonhole himself by being like, I'm just the rap monster.
Yeah.
You gotta be more than the rap monster.
Sure. And I feel like that's the most common example that I found in looking for like idols who have spoken out about disliking their stage names. I feel like he is pretty confident in saying like, no, I don't. Like, he does not like to be called Rap Monster anymore.
That's behind him. GOT7 Jin Young was called Junior when they first debuted because he has the same name as JYP. Yeah. And he never said this, but we can only assume that he changed it because he didn't want to be Junior JYP anymore.
I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I think from 2022, we can confidently say that's why he changed his name.
Yes.
But it's off the record.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was so wild, because it was the same company and it was two groups that essentially started as the same group on a TV show, that this happened to both of them. In 2017, YG changed the stage names of 3 winners and 4 icons.
That's so weird.
In the same year, and it was all announced, like, when they put out the comeback photos, there were suddenly new names under the boys' pictures, and everyone was like, what?
Weird.
They just changed like 7 of their stage names in the same like summer, which is so odd to me.
That is so odd. Wait, did you say how long into this career, or how far into their career they did
I think it was like 2 years in.
Okay, like pretty, okay.
It wasn't like immediate.
Yeah. It wasn't like after their first comeback or something. That's odd.
And then the Icon one caused a little bit of drama because they changed Icon Donghyuk to DK, and 17 had already debuted and already had a DK, so all of the fans were like, what?
What is with people needing to be named DK? Because as we've already discussed, the DK like had to be in 17.
They were going to give it to someone.
Somebody.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Another thing that's pretty common when it comes to changing names is sometimes people who have a stage name, then the group disbands, and now they want to be an actor or an announcer, or like somehow start a new career, so they drop the stage name. After School Lizzie got rid of her stage name. All of the M Blacks who have stage names got rid of them when M Black was over. Like, that's also kind of common to like put the stage persona like behind you and go back to your birth name.
Especially if the stage persona came as part of a group and now you're moving on as a soloist or not even doing music anymore. Like, it makes sense to put the name behind. Like, let the name be something that was part of that group.
Mm-hmm. Another one that was mid-career that I thought was interesting is girl group Secret had a member whose stage name was Zinger. And immediately after debut, this name got a lot of flack. Because KFC in Korea has a very popular sandwich called the Zinger.
Oh, no.
So that was like the only association people had with that word.
Well, I mean, it's not a great stage name anyway, because a zinger, at least in American English, is like a good joke.
Yeah.
Like, that's a
Got
zinger.
'em. But
It's such a
apparently,
dated term.
and apparently she chose this stage name because she worshipped Nicole Scherzinger of the Pussycat Dolls. And that's where her stage name came from. Zinger. Scherzinger. Yeah.
That's so silly.
Yeah.
Well, here's an example of an idol choosing their own stage name.
Yeah.
And if I was a CEO, I would say this is what happens when
Mm-hmm.
idols choose their own stage name.
But yeah, I guess like
I can just see someone being like, this is why you're not allowed to pick.
because of Zinger. But yeah, she had that name for 4 years of secret. And then I guess at some point she had like a super hard year and got in like a bad car accident and like saw the light and wanted to be reborn and went back to her birth name of Jung Hana.
Wow.
So,
Well, good for her.
yeah.
I saw that Wonder Girls, Yenny, that was her stage name, her birth name is Yoon. And when she debuted as a solo artist, she debuted as Hatfelt, which is stylized HA:TFELT. And she originally chose it as her producer name, and she was like, Yoon and Yenny are my like singer like selves.
Right.
And Hatfelt is myself as a producer. But she originally had it spelt like the English word heartfelt. And JYP said it was too feminine, so she should change the way that she wrote it. So now that's why she's
Why it has the cool colon in the middle and stuff. Yeah, that was another thing. I didn't write a lot of them down, but that seems to be like a kind of common thing if for some idols that do a solo debut outside of their group, that they then choose a stage name for the solo version of themselves. So it's usually like very simple things. Like there's one guy who just like went by M. I can't remember what group he was in, but like, I don't know, just picking like one other little name to be like the solo version of me. It's even more different.
Ooh, that's interesting, because actually now that I think about it, aside from Hatfelt, she's like the only one I can think of that did that, because like all the people who have gone solo from...
Was Woods called Woods when he was in his group?
That's what I was just thinking. Woods was not. He was called Song Yoon.
Okay.
Or whatever. So Woods rebranded himself as Woods. Although I don't know if he went by Woods when he was on Produce.
Yeah, I don't know if he was X1 Woods or if he had a name.
That I don't know. But I don't think he went by it when he was in Unique. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Sunmi went by Sunmi. Or Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Well, there aren't that many, like, soloists that...
Yeah.
Period.
True.
Much less soloists that, like, left their group.
Right.
Doing things after. Anyway, I also added your Edon.
Of course.
He wasn't on your list, and I was like, hey, he has
It's
to
true.
be on there. But we've talked about that change many, many times.
Because it was probably... I don't think Cube like owned his stage name. I don't think it was that case. I think he just really wanted to be a different new version of himself for the new chapter. But his original stage name of Dawn was the E was supposed to stand for East.
Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Now it's just Dawn.
Now it's
probably
just Dawn.
One of the most tumultuous changes.
Yeah, probably. My next category was an interesting one, which was the name is already taken. Now, I don't know if Korea, I know that here in America, if you want to be like a screen actor, there is a union that you have to join. And you can't have two living people with the same name in the union. So that's why a lot of like American Hollywood celebrities have totally different names than the ones they were born with, because someone in the union already had their name. I don't know if
I think like David Tennant's name is a stage name because of that reason.
Probably.
And he's not American, he's Scottish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
And I don't know if like Korea has a similar like no two people can have the same name thing, because I do think it's way more common for people to have the same name in Korea because there's only so many syllables to choose from and arrange into three parts. But anyway, I do think for at least the sake of being found or making a mark, we don't want idols to have the exact same name as somebody else and get confused. So some fun examples I found. Stray Kids, Lee No. His birth name is Lee Min-ho. And that's a very famous actor. He already took that name. Sure. You can't be Lee Min-ho. We already have one. So he just went with Lee No. And he spells it no like you know. K-N-O-W.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then I found that in Girls' Generation, Sohyun's real name is Joohyun, and Finkel had a Joohyun, and that's a big first-gen girl group, so you can't have another one. Red Velvet Irene is also a Joohyun.
Oh, wow.
So neither of them could have that name, and they had to get stage names. And then Tiffany from Girls' Generation, her birth name was Stephanie, but the Grace had a Stephanie. Oh. That SM, like a girl ballad group, they already had a Stephanie. So she chose Tiffany because her mom had wanted to name her Tiffany and was outvoted by her dad or whatever, and her mom had passed away. So like to honor her mom, and she like took back her original name of Tiffany.
Wow. Also probably one of the only examples of a foreign idol with an English name who doesn't go by their
birth name. Yeah.
English name.
Yeah, she's a Stephanie. And then Red Velvet Joy is a Sooyoung, and there's a Sooyoung in Girls' Generation. So she is
same
Joy.
As well.
Exactly. Weekly member Monday, which I think it's funny that there's only one day name in Weekly. I feel like they should have all been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but
because there are 7 of them.
I think
and
so.
If you go ahead and name one of them Monday, it almost feels like you were going to name them all a day of the week, and then you just like forgot.
Changed your mind.
Changed your mind not even halfway through. Feels like a weird choice.
But Monday's birth name is Kim Jimin, and there's a comedian who already has that name. And then Teen Top's Neil is a Daniel An, and Danny An from G.O.D. So he just went with the Neil. The Neil part?
Oh, Daniel.
Yeah. It's like taking the other side of Daniel. It's usually Dan, but like, no, let's take I love that like a Chris and a Topher. It's fun to take the like wrong.
Wow. Yes, you're right.
The wrong side of your name.
So does that mean that Bert from like Bert and Ernie is a Robert?
Probably.
Wow. It's like seeing the world upside down. Neil from Daniel. My mind is blown, Neil.
Yeah. And then Shiny's Key, he is Kim Ki-boom, and there was a Kim Ki-boom in the original lineup of Super Junior. So he couldn't have that.
SM hiring a lot of the same names.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that most of the ones I found were like SMs who had the same names as other SMs.
Yeah.
There's also, I didn't write it down, but the in 80s.
I believe so.
Is Jung Yoon-ho as well. He has the exact same birth name as you know, but because he's you know 2 times, this kid could just be because it's just one.
Yeah.
But they have the exact same name, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. I always forget that that's Yuno's real name until I try to look for him in my iTunes.
Yeah, because they changed him to Jung Yoon-ho, and I was like, who is that?
Yes. All right, so now we come to what I would say is probably my least favorite category, only because it leads to some really, really bad choices.
Right. And that is when, per the concept or for whatever reason, the entire group has stage names. Yeah. This is way less common. I feel like it's more common to have no stage names than it is to have all stage names.
Yeah. But it's most common to have at least one.
Mm-hmm. So the earliest example I could find of this was SES.
Sure.
Shu, Eugene, and Bada. Those are all stage names. There's only 3 of them, but all stage names, and it made the SES. It helped spell the name and stuff.
But her name is Bada.
But Seung-hee is her her birth name. The other S comes from yeah.
It's weird that I was like, it's strange that they went with Bada and not a stage, because her birth name starts with an S.
Yeah.
To complete the SES.
Yeah.
But why?
I don't know.
Come on.
Confusing. And then as we talked about, TVXQ as a concept, Lee Soo-man thought it would be really trendy and hot and cool if they all had 4 character names. So they all have them.
More information on the deep process of naming TVXQ in our 2-part deep dive. But yeah, those 4 character names apply to all 5 of the original members, which is why Changmin is still Max Changmin and Yuno is
Yuno. Yeah. Also an early SM group, Trax, the rock band. The name Trax came from their stage names Typhoon, Rose, Attack, Christmas.
Which is spelled
Xmas.
And that's what I'm talking about with the SES, right? Like, it makes sense to come, like, if you're all gonna have the stage names. Yes, pull a Trax. Except this is where this category goes downhill for me. Because, like, okay, Typhoon, Rose, fine. Attack?
And
Xmas
is a really wild stage name.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's not so good. There's no pattern to it, but Teen Top all had stage names for whatever reason. They were Cap, Chunji, Eljo, Neil, Ricky, and Changjo. And none of those are their real names. They don't have a pattern or a theme, but they all got stage names.
This is, I think, the biggest war crime of the list. And this is the group that I think we got them in the
We
random
have
game.
gotten them in the
They
random
are
game.
Alpha Bat with the B-A-T all in caps. And that's also not how you spell alphabet. And then all of their names, all 9 of them, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them, all are named after the letters from the Greek alphabet, like beta, epsilon, lambda, but they're all with a colon.
They're all stylized
ridiculously
weirdly.
as well, and this is too much. This is doing too much. And someone is named Iota.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
No, it's not. Yeah, but
Sorry to Alphabet.
Sorry to Alphabet, but honestly, only the first 4 listed here stayed in the group. The others were barely in it for any time
Probably
because they didn't
were
want to be called
Iota.
Heda and Phi. And then, as discussed earlier, both Winner and Icon after the 2017 changes, all stage names. Both groups, all stage names.
Maybe that prompted the decision. If they just, I don't know, for whatever reason decided everyone needs a stage name, so they just changed the remaining members.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not sure. But yeah, they all have stage names now.
It seems like at least the Winner ones all came from their original names.
Yes, like Yoon and Hoon.
Yeah. From Song Yoon.
Uni and Hooney.
Yoon and Hooney.
Yeah, I saw some comments from when they announced that, and fans were like, why didn't they just make them Uni, Hooney, Junie, and Mooney? We should have just gone for it.
That would have been
If
so
you're gonna
funny.
change them.
That would have been so funny. Does Winner Mino spell his name M-I-N-O
Yes.
because of Shiny Mino?
Probably. I would assume
I respect
that because the Mino with an H was taken already.
Yeah.
But the only one of these names that I could find a story for is that Icon BI, he chose that stage name, and it's supposed to mean B-I-I-B.
Oh.
So BI.
I think there are 4 IB.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Got
exactly.
It. Got it. B-I. I-B-I. Popeye. I am what I am. I be what I be.
I be what I be. Exactly.
I-B-I.
Espa, all 4 of them are stage name gals. And I was able to find all of the stories behind them. Karina, her Catholic name is Katarina.
Okay.
And so they just changed it. But apparently she was given the choices between Wua and Jasmine as well.
Well, Jasmine would fit with Giselle, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good that she chose Karina to have like a different syllable in there.
Yeah. And as I said, Giselle was named because her trainer thought she looked British, but her first name is Aeri, spelled Aeri, and I think that's so pretty. Like, why didn't they let her keep that?
That is really pretty. Maybe it's because it's too close to Espa. It's also spelled
AE. Yeah. And then Winter was named Winter because her birthday's in January and she's, quote, pure like snow.
Okay.
And then Ning is her last name. So apparently Ning is a childhood, like people have always called her Ning. So that's one of those. But I thought it was interesting that all of them are nicknamers.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they let Ning Ning keep Ning Ning as opposed to giving her another Western name.
Yeah. She could be Jasmine or whatever.
Exactly, to go with Karina, Giselle, and Winter. But Ning Ning is cute.
I didn't look up where any of these came from, but the boy group Only One Of is also entirely stage names. No pattern or anything that seems to go through them, but they all got
names.
them. And then the last one that's heavy concept is the boy group Kingdom. All of the boys are named after different kings throughout history for the sake of their deep lore concept thing.
Yes, which only escapes the alphabet curse because they all pass as acceptable names because they're actually names of people. Not letters.
So we've got Dan, who is King Dan of Denmark, Arthur from British legend. Muujin is named after Emperor Jin-mu from Japan. I don't know why they had to switch it. Yeah. Louis is King Louis from France. Ivan for Ivan the Terrible of Russia, which is very funny.
King Louis the 14th got beheaded, so like I don't know why they're naming it after him. But okay.
Yeah, Ivan the Terrible. And then Jahan is Shah Jahan from India. And then Chi Wu is King Chi Yu of China. Again, they changed it a little bit.
Well, fun mix of kings that's coming in. Don't know if they just chose them for their names or for their reputations. But yeah, that's a whole heavy-handed concept.
Yeah. So those are some examples of like groups where the whole group got a stage name, whether it was for concept or like just because. But that happens sometimes where the whole group gets one. And then finally, I just had this like uncategorized category where if I found a fun story or something behind a name, I just like wrote it down for the sake of it. So like Psy chose his own name and it's because he's, quote, a little bit psycho.
Yeah, and so then
Very simple.
And his fans are called psychos.
Yeah.
That's the name of his fandom.
Ekshi from WJSN, it stands for expensive.
Which I think is great because she does look expensive.
I loved this story. Crush, my boy Crush, originally chose the stage name C-Sub, C.SUB, because his name is Shin Hyosob, and like C-Sub somehow. But one time he was like going on stage at like an open mic and somebody read the chicken scratches like they were just like, Crush. And he was like, oh, I like that. And then he just chose it.
So it's a good choice.
Yeah.
Good. Bless that misreading.
Yeah.
Poor handwriting. Because also C-Sub is not easy to say. And it doesn't roll off the tongue like My Boy Crush.
My Boy Crush is way better.
Yeah.
Kino from Pentagon, I think, came up with his own stage name, and the K is for Kong, his last name, and then the Eno is for innovation.
Really silly. Okay, but this next one truly shook me to my core because
Shook to my core.
I did not know this was a stage name.
I knew it was a stage name, but where it came from shocked me.
I didn't know it was a stage name. I literally thought this was his first and last name. And I always call him by the full thing.
Yeah, everyone does.
Everyone does. And I always think of that phrase of your bias is your bias, but Chawanu is Chawanu. And that's a lie.
He's not.
Because Chawanu is not Chawanu.
No.
Who is he? His imposter.
His real name is Lee Dong-min.
What the fuck?
And the second drama that he ever did in his career in 2017, he played a character named Chao Nu. And then people would see him on the street and go, oh, Chao Nu. So then he just kept that name because that's what people knew him as. So he just became that. Like, what if like Robert Pattinson was like, my name is Edward now because that's what people know me. Like, I've never heard of this ever.
Edward Cullen.
Yes.
He change his whole name.
Yes.
That's fucking wild. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either.
Mind is so blown by it that it's really, really silly. And like the name is fictional. Like it's a fictional person that he played in a drama once. What the fuck? What?
Yeah, but now that's him. He is Chao Nu now.
But he is Chao Nu. Like that. I cannot believe he even had that. It's a stage name.
Yeah.
Lee Dong Min. No.
No.
It doesn't fit that face.
Mm-mm.
It just doesn't.
No.
Chao Nu's written all over his teeny tiny face.
Yeah.
Wild. You learn something new.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Another thing that I learned, because I'd always wondered, because it always seemed to me like the most random of the EXO stage names, I never knew why Lay was called Lay, because that's like not it, and it's spelled Lay, like lay down.
Yeah.
But it came from, apparently, Lee Soo-man watched a Taiwanese drama once where there was a character named Hwa Jae-lay, and the character loved music. So he was like, you'll be called Lay. But the character spells it Lei. And I feel like if his name was Lei, it feels like it would make more sense than Lay.
Yeah, into the, like, yeah, it would have fit more into the concept because they gave, like, Schumann, the name to make it sound more Chinese. And then, like, an actual Chinese member of XOM, they made his name more Western, which is an interesting choice. But he's named after a Chinese character.
Yeah.
You know, I won't pretend to understand the way Lee Soo-man's brain works.
No, I will not.
I just won't do it.
I also learned that there was some poor kid in a second gen group called Double A, and his birth name was Yu Ye Hyang-gi, which is long, but they gave him the stage name Kimchi.
That just makes me think of the drag queen.
Yes. Teen Top Cap, who's like stylized it CAP with periods, didn't stand for anything. He just likes to wear hats. Apparently, like that is supposedly the story behind his.
This is why we don't let them choose.
Yeah.
Oh, see, putting my CEO hat back on.
This next one was one that just like felt like a real stretch to me, which feels more common in like group names being silly, but Tiara Curie, which was spelled letter QRI, is supposed to be a combination of cute and pretty, which I think is a stretch.
Yeah.
I think that's a stretch.
Yeah.
That's a stretch. Eunbi from IZ*ONE was originally in a girl group called Yeah, and her stage name was Kazoo, which is wild.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. And
Eunbi is better. Although I think there's maybe more than one. Or maybe no, she's the one who just did her solo debut. I think maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know I've seen solo. I saw a soloist named Eunbi who was very good. Maybe it's an IZ*ONE.
Maybe it's this one. I found this really random second gen boy group that's name was Asian, but it was spelled ACIAN, but it was pronounced Asian.
Okay.
And they had some of the craziest stage names, including there was a member named Hidden, a member named Lo J, and this is the worst stage name I've ever heard. A member named Cruge. Cruge. Cruge.
One more time. That is worse than Field Dog. I really think it is.
Yeah.
And Field Dog's pretty bad.
It is.
It's pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Wow, Cruge. Oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
That's gross.
I don't know the stories behind these, but another like weird random group, crazy stage names. The group Madtown had a member named Moose, Moos, Moose.
Like a cow.
Yeah. Buffy, Jota, and Ho, or Ho, whatever it was, Ho. Let's see. Vix's N, which is also on a list of people. Like, I went looking, like, what do people feel about stage names? And a lot of people don't like the single letter ones. Your L's, your N's.
Sure.
But V works somehow.
V
Because
works,
V
I think,
feels more like a name.
Yeah, because of the way that you like pronounce the letter, like the name V sounds as though it's a consonant and vowels, but just saying N
Or L.
or L. Yeah, well, I mean an L like Elle Woods.
Oh, right. You can spell it. Yeah, that makes sense. But N is weird. I think N is
I
weird.
think it's because of the way it like stops.
Yes, but supposedly Vix N chose his own name, and the process went as thus. His birth name is Hakyeon. The Korean word for fate is Inyeon.
Okay.
And somehow that just went to N. Yeah, that's his explanation for it.
All right.
Again, a little bit of a stretch. Another video game one. Vix's CEO apparently named Ken after both a Japanese singer named Ken and Street Fighter Ken from the game Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, that's so funny.
This is another random one I found. One of the second generation of Ocean, because we've talked about Ocean had like 3 iterations. The second iteration of Ocean, one of the members chose the stage name or was given the stage name Marine. And I can only assume to go with the ocean theme.
Interesting.
But Marine is an interesting, like, as a name to be called.
Marine.
And then the last thing I have written is what I think is one of the worst names on this entire, like, everything that I did. MIB, again, this group, had a member named Young Cream. Young Cream was the name that he chose for himself. And supposedly it was supposed to be Young Forever plus Cream, and the Cream comes from the Wu-Tang Clan song Cream, which stands for Cash Rules Everything Around Me. But Young Cream, yucky. Yucky, don't like that at all.
I don't like the word cream.
Yeah, I agree.
I find it gross. Mm-hmm. It's my moist.
Fair.
Yeah, don't love that one.
Don't love that one.
So I think Young Cream, Cruge, and Field Dog
Are the
probably
worst ones I found,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because it's hard to, be like, what are your least favorite stage names? Because I feel like most of the time I'm apathetic towards.
Or you get
stage
used to
names.
them really easily. Like the 17 ones were weird at first, but now it's like they wouldn't be called anything else. I don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, I do still get a giggle out of S-scoops because it's just so cute. A little S-scoop of ice cream. But, we just call them coops.
Yeah.
So you get used to it.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the end of my findings of my going through groups to find weird stage names. And I think we found some answers as
There's
to
no hard and fast rules about the stage names, I think, aside from the fact that if an idol chooses to have a stage name, they are more often than not given to them by the company. Or at least presented with company approved options to choose from.
There was another thing, and I apologize, I did not write any of them down, so I don't have any concrete examples. But something else that I thought was kind of interesting that I found a few times when looking stuff up is idols being given a new stage name. And again, this is a name that is a Korean name and like isn't Feel Dog. And then the said idol legally changes their name. Like 3 of the Twices legally changed their names to their Twice name. And like, but it's not, their Twice name isn't like a goofy nickname. It's like a real name. So then they just changed their names. And that like is not super common, but it like absolutely happens. And I get
more
it.
often than you think.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So there you go.
So we thought it would be fun to wrap this up, this little investigation up, to do a quick quiz to find out our own K-pop stage
Oh boy.
names. What would we be called if we chose to be idols and to have a stage name?
All right, how does
Let's
this
find
work?
out. I don't know. So we're going to take the quiz, and I figure we just take it at the same time and we'll read it out loud and then choose our answers. Okay, so the first question is, what is your favorite season? And the options are summer, winter, fall, spring, and monsoon.
Oh, monsoon season. All right.
I'm going to choose fall.
I'm going to choose spring.
Okay. The next question is, what's your favorite genre of music? And the options are jazz, pop, rock, hip-hop, metal, and ballad. So I'm going to go with pop.
Me too. Oops, I accidentally clicked rock. Oops.
Oh,
Wait, can I go back?
no.
Oh, I can go back. Okay, I got it.
Okay, nice. All right, the next question is, what hair color would you like to have? And the options are orange, pink, mint, blue, silver, black, or blonde. So you don't have purple on here to
Nope.
choose from, which is the current color of your hair.
I'm going to go with silver because there was a moment 2 summers ago, like when I filmed my Don Diddy Don reaction, where my hair was like perfectly gray for like a week before it turned green. And I would like to go back to that, but it is high maintenance. Silver is really hard to keep going.
I was thinking of silver as well because the like few white hairs I have, I think are very pretty, and I would like to. I look forward to having a thick white streak someday. But for the sake of spicing it up and not having the same, I'll go with pink because I have a very nice pink wig that I didn't wear to the
Twice
concert. Such a missed opportunity. Okay, so next question. What is your favorite hobby? And we have a lot of options. Cooking, baking, painting, reading, watching Netflix, going out with friends, practicing singing or dancing, video games, or yoga. Well, I think I spend the most time reading. So
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I like a lot of these things, but I think I have to choose video games based on what I actually
what you
spend time
actually
doing.
do. Yeah. Okay, what would your position be in a K-pop group? Vocalist, dancer, rapper, or visual? Well, we've done this before,
Vocalist.
so I'm going with visual. Are you camera shy? Yes or no, the camera loves me.
I am not camera shy at all.
I mean, I know I just chose visual. I actually am kind of camera shy though, so I'm gonna go with yes.
Do it.
What's your style? Streetwear, formal, or there's more. Streetwear, formal, athleisure, vintage, bohemian, or chic.
Man, I don't know what to choose for this.
Most of my clothes.
My style is toddler. So I don't, that's not a choice.
That's so cute and funny. Your style is toddler. You're literally wearing a onesie.
Glenn literally has this exact thing in baby size.
Oh, that's cute. I guess I would go. I don't know.
I'm going to just choose bohemian because
Yeah,
I think of
I'll
anything,
choose
that's what I
vintage
would
'cause most of my
choose.
stuff is secondhand. Oh, my stage name.
All right, we're done. We got it.
What's yours?
Mine is Yunhee. It means lotus and pleasure, and it's perfect for your personality.
Mine is G-U. G means wisdom and U means abundant. This would be the perfect name for you.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so this obviously gave us Korean names, which, as we were just talking about, is pretty common to have just a regular name be your stage name, like how Marilyn Monroe it's just a regular name, but it's not her real name.
Her name was Norma. Yeah, that was, I didn't write it down what her actual name is, but Sunny from Girls' Generation is only Sunny because her birth name is super old fashioned. And it would be like if there was a girl group member named like Mildred. It was like she has an old lady name, so they had to like give her a cuter name.
So funny. Wait, I'm looking it up right now. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Sunkyo? Susan Sunkyu Lee.
Yeah, but apparently they
That's
had to change it
hilarious.
because it was too old sounding.
Old-fashioned. Well, Sunny's cute.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
Well, there we go. Now, a kind of like a throwback, old school, getting down to back to basics.
Yeah. Back to
K-pop
basics.
stage names.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've never done.
I can't believe
Are we
we.
sure?
No,
Yeah,
we really
It's
didn't.
like a weird glitch in the Matrix where we're gonna look back and be like, "Wait, this episode
we
was
did
here
do it.
all along."
I don't think so.
That would be
But
really
yeah,
trippy.
it would be. We'll find out. And we'll be right back with a random game. All right, we are back. And this week we got a vocal group from 2003 that was called Big Mama, or is called Big Mama, because they're still doing things.
Yes, this group was around from 2003 to 2012, but then in 2021 they announced that they were getting back together, and so they released like a pre-release single in 2021 and then put out an album in February of this year, 2022. So Big Mama is back. And they are a 4-person group.
Yeah.
Even though this picture has only 2 people, that's misleading. There's 4 people in this group. And they were known for focusing on their members' singing abilities rather than looks.
Yeah. And they appear to have been under YG.
Oh, interesting.
At some point, they're under Kakao now.
And they have, as of this year, released 6 studio albums, 2 cover albums, and 16 singles altogether.
And they seem to have been really, really popular when they first came out because in 2003, they won Best New Artist and Best Music Video at the Golden Discs. They won a Bonsang in 2005 for Singer of the Year at KBS Music Awards. They got the grand prize at the Korean Music Awards in 2004. Like, when they first came out, it seems like people were all about this Big Mama thing. Mamas for Best Music Video and Best New Artist. Like, lots of stuff.
A lot of awards. So I'm excited to hear them. They must be great singers since it's a vocal-focused group. So what are we going to watch with them?
We're going to watch their debut song, Breakaway, which they won most of these awards for. So this seems to be like the song. So we got it. So if you want to pull up Big Mama Breakaway and watch it with us, you can just press play when I tell you to. And 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, breakdancing. Break dance away.
Okay, but
He's in the dark.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean-
in a bar, and there's like a spotlight where some guy was Wow, we're throwing fire right in front of the stage as well. Oh, but this is groovy as fuck.
Oh, very. The saxophones and shit.
So we have 4 girls standing in front of the standing mics. Wow, her voice is so much deeper than I expected it to be.
Really, really crunchy curls on this one. They're wearing like assorted tube tops and one sleeve halter. It's very 2003, the like way that they are dressed.
And it almost seems like they're very much like mall. Oh no, wait, she's wearing
This lady has
gown and
pearls on, yeah.
Okay, she doesn't match the rest of them. The rest of them are like in mall clothes, like fancy mall clothes.
One of them has tiny shorts or a little bitty skirt on.
Teeny tiny shorts. Yeah, we're pretty mismatched actually, upon closer inspection.
But yeah, this is very like, very smooth, very groovy, low and understated in a like Tracy Chapman-y kind of way that
Yeah.
I
Their
wasn't
voices
expecting.
are way more mature than they look. I wonder how old these girls were when they debuted.
Good question. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, well, the leader was born in 1973, so she was 30 when they.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
So
they are adults.
yeah.
That makes more sense now.
Which is also probably why they underhandedly were like, it's not about their looks because they're
Yes.
old hags.
Wow, rude. Especially because in these updated member profile pictures, like they're all classy, foxy ladies.
Yeah.
Look at how beautiful she looks. They all look great. What? Look at that coat.
And they all seem very standardly beautiful to me. Like
Totally.
they didn't need to be hidden away. Oh no.
at all.
The breakdancer is just slamming onto his back. Breakdancing in slow-mo is really hard to like no, I don't like that.
It does look very dangerous. And also, just as mismatched as their outfits, perhaps, would be the performers at this fucking bar.
Yeah.
Because we have these four ladies and their, like, jazz band. And then we have someone who is juggling fire and someone who is breakdancing to this, presumably.
Wait, is this a reveal? Are these the real singers?
Oh!
Oh my god! It's the Sing It in the Rain situation! Oh my god, the real singers are not the girls in the tube tops. They are chubby and have sweaters on. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, they're hiding behind the curtain.
Wow, this is fucked up.
Oh, that's
Fucking making commentary about society. This is why they won Best Music Video. People were like, oh, wow.
listen to them fucking wail. Okay, these girls are actually. This makes a lot more sense actually because the girls in front of the microphones didn't look like they were really. Singing. These
No.
girls are like holding hand mics
And being like, wow. Wow, a twist.
Wow, twist indeed. Twist. I'm shocked.
I am shocked too.
Big Mama. Breakaway. Wow, that was good. I liked that. They're good.
Oh, wow. And in this little ending part, one of the skinny bitches just like shoved them on the way out of the club.
Oh, what? Mine didn't have that.
Oh,
It did not.
wow. We were watching different music videos that were the same. Oh, wow.
Mine doesn't have that. Wow.
Fascinating.
But I did get recommended a playlist of the best songs of Big Mama, which is over an hour long. So
Oh, great.
Nice.
I also saw when looking them up that they did one of those cute, that channel that I have talked about before, ODG, the one where the cute little kids, it looks like they do this thing where sometimes they bring kids to like a karaoke room and then they have like an incredible singer like perform for the children and then they're always like blown away and it looks like Big Mama did one of those. So,
Fun.
well, there you go. That was a fun surprise.
That was fun.
Cool. Big Mama. There you go. They're back. They're here.
They're back. They're here. They just put out an album in February. Check it out.
There you go. All right. That is it for this week. It is weekly recommendation time.
Well, my recommendation is easy, and it's with joy and pride that we can recommend the newest GOT7 EP. We did their deep dive too long ago because they all decided to leave JYP and their future was uncertain. We didn't know where it would lead. and they said they'd come back, and they did.
They
didn't
did.
even make us wait very long.
No, not at all. I thought they were gonna like go to the military and then
Yeah,
maybe,
and then
do something.
Like, it's like the opposite of 2 p.m. Like, they didn't make us wait
At all.
Like, not even 5 months. Much
Honestly,
less
if they
5
had stayed at
years.
JYP, they probably wouldn't have come back as
Probably
quickly
not.
as they
Maybe
did.
that's why they left. But they bought their name, and their new EP is self-titled Got7, and the lead title is Na Na Na, and the whole EP is really pleasant and lovely. The first song is called Truth, and I think on first listen that's my favorite, but I really liked all of it. I think it only has like 6 tracks.
Well, yeah, I gotta check the whole album out, but I was going to read a Patreon recommendation that's exactly the same thing.
Oh, great.
But Michael said you have to check out Got7's comeback. They look really great in the music video for the title track Na Na Na. But to be honest, the whole album is amazing. Special shout out to Sabrina, who revived my love for Got7 a few weeks ago. Thank you so much.
Love it. We're all on the same.
Everybody's on Got7
Everyone's
time.
on Got7 train.
Love it.
Except for JB, who decided to give us the most beautiful, perfect haircut of all time in the music video. Thank you for immortalizing it, but how dare you chop it off immediately?
Like, immediately.
What the fuck? I didn't even get to enjoy it upon a stage, not but one time? Rude.
Very
What
rude.
a tease, JB. Are you enlisting tomorrow? Because if not, why?
No excuse for this.
Why? There were moments in the music video where the way his hair curled and hit his face brought tears to my eyes. Now it's all gone.
Yeah, haircuts are hard. Haircuts are hard. I saw this morning.
Long-haired men.
I know. A haircut that I saw this morning that like actually comforted me way more than I thought it was going to. Hyuna is back on her college stage circuit. Summer is revived. Like, the world is healed and Hyuna's back to doing her college summer festivals. But she brought Donnie yesterday, and the extensions are gone, which I loved. His like long blonde extensions. I thought they were so pretty.
Not enough long-haired men.
Not enough long-haired. So I was like sad that the extensions were gone, but literally he has his like 2018 fluffy blonde, like round, his Edon hair.
Aww.
And like and Hyuna's hair is black, and this like picture of them, like it literally looked like a 5-year-old picture of them. I was like, oh my God, everything's just like going back to normal. It was nice to see. And he said that he has a song coming out in the middle of June. So I hope that's true.
Very exciting.
But anyway, that's it. That's it for this week. Next week, we've given our Patreon patrons a real challenge.
Yes.
So we'll find out.
And we've only given you a week to deliberate. So, TikTok. If you are a seasoned fan patron, please make sure you check your email. You have a homework assignment, and it is due on Tuesday, May 31st by 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you want to make it into the episode.
Yes. So do it.
Get to
Don't
work.
think about it. Don't think about it. That's the point.
Yeah.
Don't think
Don't
about it.
think
Just
you
go.
pick.
Just go.
Don't think, just pick.
Anyway, if you want to know what that's all about, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/AMAKPopPod.
And tune in next week.
And tune in next week for the reveal. But you can find us, as always, at AMAKPopPod on everything, AMAKPopPod@gmail. If you want to send us emails, 181-AMAKPop5 for voicemails and text messages. We love getting those. We got one the other day. One of our friend Tosh made a friend at I think the Monsta X at one of the movies.
Cute.
And then went to KCON Chicago with that new friend and called to tell us about it. Like, I love stuff like that. Call for whatever you want.
Gosh.
I love K-pop friends. You can also, join our Patreon bonus content. Right now I'm doing audio only Queendom episodes, but we usually do video episodes as well. So there's lots to watch on Patreon if you join right now. Linktree/AMAKPop will take you to our YouTube and our Spotify and our Discord, where you can hang out with other listeners and lots of stuff like that. And P.O. Box 26096, Los Angeles, California, 90026 if you want to send us some mail. And those are all the places. And yeah, we will be back next week with something fun. Phew. Thanks for tuning in. Love you. Happy shiny day. Goodbye. Bye. Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.